All right. MC with Tech, back with another video. Today is the weekend, a follow-up video from me when it comes to hooking up my PTRTP 10 kicker enclosure. It's a 10 in subwoofer that I'm going to be hooking up today. So we're getting into this. I'm going to show you everything that came in my Boss Kit 2 that's going to help me hook this system up, this kicker enclosure or speaker box to my car. It's a subwoofer with a radiator next to it. It is a nice unit, I hear, and so we're going to hook that up today. I'm going to show you everything that's in the kit that comes with it, and then I'm going to show you everything again, what it takes to hook up subwoofer enclosure and the amplifier that's embedded in the subwoofer. So with that being said, this is the video. Let's go, let's get it, let's go. MC with Tech. Okay, so this is everything that comes in the kit. So in this kit, you're going to get a ground, you're going to get a power cable to hook to the battery, and you're going to get a remote wire, you're going to get speaker wires, and you're going to get RCA cables in this kit. This is a complete kit. It's going to allow you to hook this up. And even with the power cord, you're going to get an inline fuse in that power cord that's going to allow you to hook this amp up and this box up completely. So let's unbox it. So we're going to pull out the hardware. So in this hardware, you're going to get some ties. You're going to get some connectors for connecting it to the battery post, also to a ground. You're going to get some grommets for hooking and protecting from that firewall. You can put into the firewall when you have to drill through that firewall. These will help with that insulation as far as water getting into the system. And you're going to get some other connectors and some screws. So that's pretty much the hardware as far as that goes. So then you're going to get your speaker wires. Here are your RCAs for hooking up your RCAs to the amp if you need them. And this is pretty much if you're running into an aftermarket radio, but since we're not hooking it to an aftermarket radio, we really don't need these. But I'm going to show you what you get in the kit. So then you're going to get your power wire. So this is your power wire that you're going to get for hooking up and running that from the battery to the amplifier. And then you're going to get your ground. So this is your ground. All this is 8 gauge wiring. So this is 8 gauge, this is 8 gauge, this is 8 gauge. And then this is right here is 16 gauge for the speaker wire. So this is all your hardware right there. And then you're going to get your tubing for your engine bay. This is going to be put around the wiring in your engine bay for the tubing once you get it through the firewall. So you have to get this through the firewall. That's the only thing you have to do, get this through the firewall, and you have to ground this cable. So you're going to get this. And then this is the inline fuse, and it has a fuse inside it. As you can see right here, there's a fuse inside that. You're going to hook that up to this. And last but not least, this is your remote wire. We're not going to be using the remote wire either. So these are 2 items that we're not going to be using because the remote wire is hooked up to an aftermarket radio, but we're hooking this up to my factory radio, and it will be ran off the speaker system and the speaker wires. Once we get everything hooked up, I will show you. And then this is the hardware once again for the speaker box with the amp built in. You got your RCAs. You got your bass boost wire. You have the connector that's going to connect to your box where you're going to put the power and you're going to put the ground into these 2 leads. Then you're going to have the controller for that bass boost. And then you're going to have your hardware. And then these are the screws and bolts that come with it for helping you do it. And you're going to also have an additional fuse. So let me set everything I'm going to use out that's going to help me connect this speaker box and go to hooking it up. Like I said, it is the weekend now. I get the opportunity to play with it, hook it up, and hey, put my skills to the test and see if I can do the things I used to do back when I was younger. Now, I am an older guy, and this is going to be something a little different to me. Like I said, I haven't done this in about 15, 16 years, maybe 20, but I can still do it. I still have a little know-how, and I still got the idea of how to get this hooked up. Let's go. Okay, now that I have everything laid out, these are all the tools I will need. I'm going to have a pair of wire cutters and crimpers. I got both pair. One pair is put up in my storage, but I got that. Like I said, you have the inline fuse. You have the mounting brackets that you're going to take to mount the box to the car, because I'm going to do that. I'm going to have the connector for connecting it to the box when you have that power wire and that ground connected. Then you have your RCAs and your speaker wires for connecting it to the factory speakers, because that's how we're going to get this to work. Instead of having a remote wire, we're going to hook this to the factory speakers. We're going to have a metal drill bit for getting through that firewall. I have it already marked in my car. So I have that. I have the ground. I have the base knob with the wire. And I also have the insulation for the interior of the engine bay. And I have some tape, electrical tape, as needed if we need it. And then, because I also have some electrical connectors that's in my storage, so I have to get those out too. And the hardware we're going to need for connecting some of these connectors to the electrical connections, we have my drill for getting through that firewall, and we also have some screws that's for mounting this to the car. And we also have a hex key tool for operating and getting this connected. And that's pretty much all we have and all it's going to take to hook this up. So like I said, this is just the beginning of the video. I'm going to do the video and I'm going to do in parts. I don't want to just take me all day, so I'm not going to film every aspect of hooking this up, but I'm going to show you me connecting it to the battery, disconnecting the battery, me connecting this to the battery, running the cable through. I will show the entry point, but I will not show you me running it through it. I'm going to show you how I'm going to run it down the seal plates that's on the car, down the left side of the driver's side of the vehicle. And then I'm going to show you me giving and putting the ground in, or showing you the ground that I'm going to connect it to. I'm going to show you the speaker location that I'm going to connect it to. And then I'm going to let you hear how it sounds once it is complete. This is hopefully takes me just a couple hours, maybe even less than that. All depends on how fast I move and how fast the process go. Nothing is easy. We're not going to try to rush it, but we are going to try to get it done and enjoy the day and enjoy the listening and sounds of this Kicker 10. Let's go. All right, so now we headed out to the show, and I'm going to put this subwoofer in. And so it's going to be a daunting task. It's, it could be daunting when I said that. I got a couple obstacles. I got to get through the firewall. That's one obstacle. And then I got to find the correct speaker wires, to put in this subwoofer box, and I got to find the correct speaker wire. So I did my due diligence and did my search as much as I could on the internet to find them. And I believe I have the right color code for the positive to negative to make sure that I'm hitting the right one and getting it correct the first time instead of having to do another search. So that's where we're at. And so for right now, I'm going to run down, and this is going to be a hard filming because I'm doing this and holding this by hand. And then, like I said, I'm only doing this filming in segments because I don't want it to take all day to do. I want to get it done as quick as possible, but to the best of my ability without messing anything up. So with that being said, that's what we're on. That's the mission, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to pop the hood on the car. And so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take off the negative cable. I decided not to take the battery out and go through those extra steps. So I'm just going to take the negative cable off. I'm going to cover it to make sure it doesn't touch anything grounded from when I'm hooking everything up. And so we're also going to take that positive, the inline fuse, and hook that in with the amplifier wire for the power wire. And then we're going to, once we get it through the firewall, let me show you. I'm going to run it down the floor panel shields all the way down to this way, through the panel seals all the way down this way to the rear of the car, down the back seals, through the seats, and then we're going to find a ground. Somewhere back in here, we'll find that ground. So with that being said, this is where I'm putting the box. So, and I'm going to do like what most people are saying do, because the amplifier is actually on this side. I'm going to have the kicker facing towards the front of the car. The kicker emblem, that right there, will be facing the front of the car. And so with everything that's in, my trunk is not that bad, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But that's where I'm going to put everything. And it's go time. So let's go. Now, one of the first things I'm going to do is take off the negative battery cable with my 10mm wrench. So where that hole that I'm going to drill at, that right there should be right next, it should come out right next to the base. It should come out right next to the brake booster on the other side of the firewall. So we're going to cover this up and we're going to try to tuck it. Is make sure that it hits no ground. We're going to try to tuck it, make sure it hits no metal. So there it is. So let's go and let's start drilling for the hole. So you see right there where that little black slot is, I'm going to get my hand up there under there the best I can. This is where I'm going to be drilling at right here. So I'm going to be taking my drill and drilling right there to get through that firewall. It's hard to show you, but that's where I'm going to be my entry point for I can put the power wire through.
Many hours later.
Okay, so now I'm filming progress. I have the power wire through the firewall, through a grommet right there. I had tried to go through and drill a hole. It just wouldn't penetrate for some reason. I couldn't get a good angle on the firewall. I didn't have a small drill. I had a large drill. So I ended up having to use a grommet. And it took me a little time, but I got it through. And the power wire is here. This is how the setup will look. So all I have to do is connect it to the O-ring and to the battery, but it is in and it is ready to go as far as the power wire is going. And so now I have to mess with the ground. So I have it ran and everything is put back. As you can see, all the panels are put back and you can't see any wires. That is well done, very well done. No wires. As you can see, it's all running back up in here. And then you will see the final result is the power wire coming back through there. And so there's the sub. And now all I have to do is find the ground and then the speaker wires, and the job is done.
1 day later.
So it is MC with Tech, and I'm back with the second part of the video. So yesterday, getting through that firewall took me a little bit of time. So I ran out of time and daylight. So here in the Midwest, it gets dark a little early now, so I ran out of daylight. And so I got to go back in. Everything is wired up. Let me just say, no, everything except for the speakers are wired up. So what I have to do is go back in and I have to do the speakers and wire them from the factory speakers to the sub. So that's what I'm going to be finishing up. Everything else is done and complete. I have the bass knob put in for adjusting the bass level on the sub when everything is put in. And only thing I have to do is connect the positive to the battery, but I'm going to take the battery loose again. That way I don't drain my battery, because the trunk has to stay open and has a light that has to be that stays on when it's just open. So I don't want to drain my battery, so I'm going to disconnect the battery, and then I'm going to get into tapping into those speaker wires and plugging everything into the box. Now I'm going to show you the box location. So with this box location, it has a little notch that kind of buckles upward, and I don't want the speakers to hit that. So I'm gonna probably might have to set this down in the bottom part of the trunk. I would like where it is, and I wish it could stay where it's at, but I don't want to damage the speaker, so I'm probably gonna have to drop that speaker down a little bit. But how the box is designed, I don't think it's gonna cause me any problems with trunk space or putting anything in the trunk. So there's the box in the space I was talking about. As you can see, there's this little right here. And I'm afraid this is going to damage and hurt the speakers, because the speakers are going to hit that. But that's why I would love for the speaker to sit. And it might not be, if it sets to sit right here, that's perfectly fine, because it's not hurting anything. I can still put things around it and it's not hurting anything. Plus I'm going to clean up this trunk and get everything going. So now that I have everything wired up, this is the plug that's going to go into the sub. These are going to be RCA outs for your speakers right here. This is the ground and the power. This is my remote wire that I'm going to plug into the box. And so these are my factory speakers that I have to tap into. Okay, so now that I have the speaker box where it's going to go, right there, I have access to the speaker wires on each side. I have tested it. So what I'm going to do is run the speaker wires from where the speakers are. Excuse my camera. I opened up the back panel where the seats are, and I'm gonna run the speaker wires down here and down this wall right here to the RCA connectors. So right there, you will see the RCA connectors where I'm gonna run the speaker wires to. That way you won't be able to see them, and they will be covered by a black panel. And then I'm gonna show you the finished results. All right, I'm gonna let y'all hear how it sounds. Go ahead, put your headphones on, because that's gonna be you the best experience. But this is the finished results. Soldered. I had to cut those connections off. I soldered the wires. That's how it is. And that's how it sounds right there. MC with Tech. Okay, and so this is the finished results. So you see everything neatly tucked away, tied down, boxes in, everything looks good. So with that being said, so this is where I put that bass boost button at, right up under the dash, right up under the steering wheel. If I wanted to hit that, I can hit that button, add a little bass, take a little bass out. This is MC with Tech. Hit like and subscribe. Help me get the channel going. I had a subscriber tell me he wanted something for cars. Here you go. MC with Tech. Let's go.